Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi israh li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. In this video, I'd like to share with you my perspectives regarding navigating failures and rejections to become your true or your success in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regardless of circumstances where you encounter such failures and rejections. The first thing is that to achieve success or acceptance is not that easy. We know that everyone has their own capacities, their own potential, their own abilities, which might be different one another in individual basis. Especially when we view in the world stage consisting of many countries, cultures, backgrounds, how would you try to fit in within one single perspectives into this whole diverse scenarios existing in the world? It's not easy. However, I'd like to emphasize that it is possible, especially when, as a Muslim, you encounter the experience of rejections or failures. So, because I created this channel for my students and I directed these videos also to my student, to anyone in Indonesia or even overseas, to understand what it means to experience failure. Is failure is determinating factor of who you are, or is this just a part of your journey in your life? I myself view failure as a process of leading into something better, something special in the future, as long as you keep trying and keep doing your best. Don't lose hopes. As a Muslim, there is one particular ayat in the Quran that is so special for me when I encounter such failure or rejections. And the ayat is, let me share you the ayat from the Al-Quran. And the ayat is this. Okay, so you see this one from the Al-Quran, Surah Al-Ankabut, verse 64. Okay, you may read that as well. Auzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa ma hadhil hayatud dunya illa lahmu wal aibu wa inna daral akhirata lahiyal hayawan law kanu ya'lamun. So this is the translation. This worldly life is no more than play and amusement, but the hereafter is indeed the real life, if only they knew. Okay. And in bahasa Indonesia, the translation is, dan tiadalah kehidupan dunia ini, melainkan senda gurau dan main-main. Dan sesungguhnya akhirat itulah yang sebenarnya kehidupan kalau mereka mengetahui. Translation of King Fahad Quran Complex. So, my students, when you encounter failure and rejections, actually that is the moment when you also will learn what it means to have acceptance and then being a victory or a champion. It's a two sides of a coin. What you see right now when you fail, it's a worldly life. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the worldly life. Not everyone has to achieve the same level of success, the same level of achievement. Everyone has their own path to achieve that kind of success, worldly life. But the true success for a Muslim is actually in the hereafter. This verse is the strongest point of why Muslims should not be sad about what happened to them in the worldly life. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has emphasized that in this verse, this worldly life. So depending on how you view worldly life, everything that is related to the material being, material existence, or having a luxurious house, expensive car, or fancy clothes, or traveling around the world, eating in a very expensive restaurant, all those material things that you can buy with money, that is considered as worldly life, even including having your plastic surgery to change your face from standard into pretty or handsome looking through the plastic surgery, and that is considered as worldly life, right? So that kind of worldly life is no more than play and amusement. Like right now, I'm doing my research and I enjoy everything. It's this is a play and amusement. So, but what is the most important thing that I will do to achieve my growth academically and personally? First, to see where I'm going and to learn what I want to achieve. And what that means is achieving is different from one person to another. If I could achieve and finish my thesis at the end, that's Alhamdulillah. That means I have achieved my academic growth in that sense. I fulfilled my duty and obligations. So if you, let's say, you tried so hard, genuinely, honestly, in all capacity that you have as individual, and then you do not get what you wish for, never lose hopes. In the moment when you encounter such failure and rejection, I know it's hard. It's hard. When I was in junior high school, I was bullied. Even some folks put labels on you, for instance, just because of how you look. If you really get those things into your heart, you might experience painful, right? But I keep telling myself that what people see from me is only through their eyes. They don't see me through my eyes. What they hear about me is only through their ears. They don't hear what I hear about me. They don't sit next to my shoulders 24 hours a day, even though they put CCTV just to see and understand who is this person. They would never understand what's inside here, what's inside this heart, and what's inside my mind. And that includes you. So if you are in the state of sorrow, in the state of depression, in the state of sadness or gloomy or any negative or bad circumstances that you are right now, you have to believe that this life condition is temporary. It's not forever. You see, a kid today is still 7 years old. As the time's passing by, the same kid will grow year by year, and then, without the parents realize, the kid reaches 20 years old, and then suddenly the same kid plans to get married. That's us in our life in this world on earth. What do you want to achieve for? What is the greatest thing that you can achieve? I've seen YouTube, Mr. Beast, for instance, Hollywood celebrities, famous superstars, singers, and whatnot. They have their private jet. They can travel around the world. So that is the worldly life. And the truth is, not everyone can have that. So I thought that everything that people can achieve basically is happiness and being content to what you have. In Islam, we call that as qana'ah, or the feeling of gratitude for everything that you have. Let me share you my perspectives in that regard. Failure or rejection is not the determination of your self-worth. No. In Africa, for instance, a fat woman is considered as a beautiful woman. But in Europe and other places, skinny woman is considered pretty. In the place where I live, for instance, because most of us have this yellow kind of skin. In the US, we were called as the people of color. We had been bombarded into believing that beautiful people are those with light skin. But how about those who have beautiful skins and eyes through our eyes, but their behavior is not good? Their behavior is bad. Is that a guarantee that they are successful? They might be rich, they might be financially successful, but what they do with that financial success is to harm another society instead of building a good scale of growth, a good scale of contribution socially. Now, we go back into this verse. So I like this verse because it reminds me that our purpose as a Muslim is not in this world. This is just a bridge to the hereafter. Even though I may fail, well, the experience of being in a failure rejection is very common, very common. No matter how hard you try to be nice, you could still see some people who view you in a wrong way. No matter how you appear neat or handsome, or you want to appear good, you might still find some people view you weird. See, that's human judgment. No matter how good you are, there are still people who judge you based on their perspectives. But the best judgment, according to me, as a Muslim, is the judgment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, to my dear students, if you are now in the last semester or in the last period of your studies in the university or at senior high school, you need to remember that what you do right now is part of this worldly life. You can achieve it as you wish. You can get what you dream of. You can obtain what you have planted for. And that's possible. Now, the question is, how if you don't get what you want, you don't get what you dream of, and you don't get what you want to achieve? How if the reality is quite the opposite with what you plan? How if the fact that happens against what's inside your mind about what it should be? What will you do? So, of course, as a Muslim, we need to remind ourselves again with this first. This worldly life is no more than play and amusement, but the hereafter is indeed the real life, if only they knew. So, To be fair, being success in this world is not for everybody. Some success can become a test for some, while some others gain success because of their hard work, because they deserve it. And some others can get success because of cheating, because of lies, because of manipulating people. They're not being true to themselves. Yes, I noticed that. So the true success for me, especially as a Muslim, is when you do your work in the righteously, truthfully, not needing to be known by people, not needing to be praised by people. So consider failure and rejection is part of the process of shaping who you are as a Muslim. Remember that our purpose is the hereafter. That's the true success. Entering the paradise and meeting the Lord of this universe, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is not easy. That is the secret. That's what Allah said. If only they knew. There in the verse, if only they knew. It is hard. It's not easy. So always aim for everything you do, everything where you intend, everything that you said, everything that you have in mind when you meet people. Always consider that they are created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you meet people who consider themselves as perfect, that they're high, the most compassionate creator on earth, and then suddenly you feel this feeling so insecure to yourself, you feel that you are so mediocre and you don't have the luxury of life, please be patient. Everything that we see is not the determination of someone's value. It's in your heart that matters. It's in your mind that matters. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can see that right through your eyes. So don't aim for people's validation or people's judgment. I myself have experience as a judge. I know what it means to be the judge, especially in competition, especially in this life. It's always, I don't call it binary opposition, but there is always night and day, morning, afternoon, and then man, woman, sweet, bitter, top and bottom, shallow and deep. There are always two things in the opposite, angels and demons, but we are somewhere in the middle. So let's say in my right hand is the evil or Satan, and in my right hand is the angel. Of course, as a human, we cannot be totally like angels, but we cannot also totally like Satan. We're somewhere in the middle. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has tested us with this life, whether we chose the right path closer to the angels or the left path closer to the evil. So we are somewhere in the middle. And then in Islam, why did the Prophet Muhammad SAW become a prophet when he reached 40 years old? Why? Because in my understanding, in my humble opinion, but please correct me if I'm wrong, because Allah SWT would like to show that the age of maturity in someone's life is actually when someone reaches 40 years old. But before that, there was a process of mistakes and trial. But however, even though someone has reached 40 years old, that someone may still commit some other things that might not be considered as acceptable in Islam, for example, if I talk about it in a very holistic perspectives. So because I'm talking to my Muslim generations right now, So always remember that this life, this worldly life, is no more than play and amusement. So don't be sad when you see artists, celebrities, or politicians. They're earning a lot of money. This is just amusement and play. Because at the end of the day, God will ask them, how did they get the money? And to what occasion that they spend the money? So that's the questions. I recently joined, for instance, a competition, and the prize or the award should give me $20,000, for instance. So I plan to do this, and that. Um, as a family man, of course, you will spend that for your family first, and then to your parents, and then helping the poor, and then you will give to charity, to organization. And after fulfilling out several lists of items that you can share with that Horizon Award, then you'll end up for yourself at the end, maybe 10% of the $20,000. But the result was I didn't get it. And when I knew that, it didn't make me sad. I just immediately thought, okay, maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want me to get that money, to get that prize, to get that award. I thought that means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps me, protected me from my own flaws, from my own mistakes. When I get that prize and then I spend it for something that might not be acceptable in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So anything that happened to our life in this world is meant to be the lessons for us. Always believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves you as long as you stay awake in the morning, you remember that you are breathing, you still have a life, you still have ways to do, places that you can go to, you still have your leg, or if you are in disability, you still have certain things that you can do within your capacity, that you want to dream something big. Why not? So this verse, personally for me, is the reason for me to be strong in every time I encounter failures and rejection. Do you think that it's nice to be rejected, especially because of your faith, because if you believe in Islam, and suddenly people out of nowhere view you as terrorists, while in fact you are only a student? If they ask you for the fight, maybe they will win because that's not your purpose. So when you encounter that, you fail and then you are rejected, and deep inside you, you know you are Muslim, always remember this first. Always, it helps you to lift up, to stand high. Don't be shy. You should feel proud because Muslims are the selected people by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to face the obstacles in the world stage. You see in the Africa, in the continent of Asia, in this Australia, in Southeast Asia, to the Middle East, and then you move to the Latin America or the American continent, and then you go up north to the North Pole, and then go back to the South Pole. Whenever you see humans in the circumstances of their life, they are having the worldly life. At the end of the day, one thing that they cannot beat is the death. When the time's up and the death schedule for them arrives, they cannot go away from there. No matter how big the wall that cover themselves, protect themselves from death, the angel of death or Israel will always come to them, because we Muslims believe that Allah Ta'ala, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is very close to us, even our double vein here, because we were created by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Of course, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has the ability to take our soul, but before that happens, always remember that everything in this world, be it being rich, success, being a professor, being a great researcher with many publications, being academicians, being a handsome person or pretty girl, anything better, that's just worldly life. Only play and amusement. Yes, aim for that. Allah does not stop you to aim for the worldly life, good, but always direct that into the hereafter. That, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the verse, the hereafter is indeed the real life. Okay, I hope that what I'm telling you in this video is useful. So I hope no more I hear people doing suicide or feeling insecure or hurting themselves for the life that they are having, hurting themselves because they were born in such conditions. Even in the West, for instance, they were born from a color family and their environment is predominantly white. You don't need to feel inferior, because in my view, no matter how you were born, whether you are white or skinny or whatever physical features that you have, I view someone from their heart, from their intention, not from what CCTV tell me, because even CCTV can lie, especially when that person know that he or she is being watched. Then everything else will not be authentic, will not be genuine. The best CCTV is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that will be given to each and every person in the Yawmil Hisab. And that is the true report about someone that I can trust. Not from the government, not from the authority, not from any this all physical devices of the electricity. You can still fake it. Even now we have artificial intelligence. Do you still trust that? I don't. So always remember, this worldly life is no more than play and amusement. But the hereafter is indeed the real life, if only they knew. Okay, let us read together again this verse. وَمَا هَذِهِ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَهْوٌ وَلَعِبٌ وَإِنَّ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانُ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ صدق الله العظيم. I hope it is useful for you, and I'm sorry if I have stated something wrong or misleading. Keep doing your best. If any one of you right now is feeling in the condition of failure, or that you're being rejected for something, be nice, keep smiling, keep happy, because your self-worth does not is not determined in those conditions. It's in your heart. And you yourself know who you are, and especially Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who created your soul. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.